Most people believe that to grow, you need a supportive garden. But some of the most resilient forces in nature and human history threw down roots in toxic soil. If you feel surrounded by hostility, you aren't stuck, you're in a crucible. There is a specific kind of silence that happens when you walk into a room and realize you aren't welcome. It's the heavy air of unspoken judgment. The sharp edge of a collective cold shoulder. Most people will tell you to leave. They'll tell you to find your tribe and seek a place where you are celebrated. And they're right. But sometimes, you can't leave. Sometimes, the environment you're in, the one that wants to see you break, is the exact place where you are meant to become unbreakable. In psychology, we call this the crucible effect. Steel isn't hardened in a garden, it's hardened in the fire. When you are hated, the social pressure acts as a psychological kiln. It burns away your need for external validation, leaving behind something much more dangerous to your enemies: indifference. Today, we aren't talking about getting along. We're talking about a psychological blueprint for thriving in a hostile territory. We're going to explore how to turn their animosity into your fuel, how to use the gray rock method to become invisible to their attacks, and finally, why being the villain in their story is actually your greatest competitive advantage. If you feel like the world is against you, don't lower your head. Change your strategy. Here is how to thrive when you are hated. To thrive in a place where you are hated, you must first commit a form of social suicide. You must kill the version of you that cares what they think. We call this becoming the ghost. Most people, when they feel disliked, do one of two things: they either over-explain themselves to try and win people over, or they become aggressive in defense. Both are mistakes. Why? Because both reactions give your haters exactly what they want. Data. In psychology, your reactions are feedback loops. When you react, you tell the other person where your buttons are. You give them a map of your insecurities. To become a ghost is to stop providing data. You become a psychological dead zone. 1. The gray rock technique. The first step to becoming a ghost is the gray rock method. You must become as uninteresting as a common gray rock. When they bait you, give short, non-committal answers. Maybe. I see. Okay. You aren't being rude, you are being boring. A bully cannot feast on a boring target. 2. Information diet. Stop sharing your wins, your losses, or your weekend plans. In a hostile environment, information is currency, and your enemies are broke. By starving the environment of details about your life, you force them to rely on rumors, which eventually make them look unreliable, not you. 3. The internal observer shift. Shift your perspective from participant to researcher. Instead of feeling the sting of their insults, ask yourself, isn't it fascinating that they feel the need to say that? When you view their hate as a specimen to be studied rather than an attack to be felt, you've already won. But being a ghost is only the defense. To truly thrive, you eventually have to go on the offense, not by attacking them, but by outscaling them. That brings us to Rule 2. Being a ghost protects your peace, but strategic excellence protects your future. There is a psychological phenomenon known as competence bias. When you become undeniable at what you do, even your enemies are forced to rely on you. In a hostile environment, your skill isn't just a job requirement, it's your leverage. Most people let hostility slow them down. They spend their work hours gossiping about the people who hate them or scrolling through social media to escape the tension. But you are going to do the opposite. You are going to use the coldness of the room to focus with a level of intensity that others can't match. The tactical breakdown. 1. The obsession pivot. Instead of using your mental energy to wonder why they hate you, pivot that energy toward your craft. In psychology, this is called sublimation, taking negative emotions, like anger or rejection, and transforming them into socially productive or creative output. Every time they ignore you, add an hour to your deep work. Every time they whisper, learn a new skill. 2. The Benjamin Franklin effect, the counterintuitive move. Sometimes, the best way to thrive is to force a psychological reset. Benjamin Franklin famously won over a hater by asking them for a small favor, specifically, to borrow a rare book. When someone does you a favor, their brain experiences cognitive dissonance. They think, I don't like this person, but I just did something nice for them. Therefore, I must not hate them as much as I thought. By strategically asking for help on a small, non-threatening task, you can dismantle the hater narrative from the inside out. 3. Torture them with success. There is no greater psychological sting for a hater than seeing you win without needing their help. Your goal is to make your excellence so loud that they can no longer hear their own criticism. You aren't competing with them, you are outscaling the entire environment. Comment below with the word excellence if you're ready to stop complaining and start outperforming. Let's see who's actually ready to change. There is a dangerous trap in the psychology of resilience, becoming so good at surviving a toxic environment that you forget you were never meant to stay there. Rule 3 is the horizon shift. You must realize that the people who hate you are actually your greatest teachers. Not because they have wisdom, but because they are showing you exactly who you don't want to become. They are your anchors, but you are a ship designed for the open sea.